Hi, I'm Allison, and I share videos about growing up in dysfunction and life today, healing as an adult child. If you read the video title, you already know the big news I'm about to share with you, and that is that I have decided to go no contact with my narcissistic mother. This is not a decision that I take lightly, although I'm going to be speaking about it very matter-of-factly in this video. It's something that has crossed my mind time and time again for over a decade, and something that I've been seriously considering for over a year now. And with a lot of soul searching and consideration, I've come to the conclusion. Look at my cat. He just with a lot of consideration, I've come to the conclusion that it's for the best. I hope that this video can help anyone out there who's being treated like garbage, but putting up with it out of obligation. You, my friend, are worthy of respect and unconditional love, and if you feel like it's the right thing to do, respect and love yourself and walk away. So, it's story time! I haven't always had an extremely difficult relationship with my mom. I'd say it's never been easy, but until high school, which is when my older siblings moved out, I flew under the radar. I was a lost child, and I largely enabled my mom. I listened to her when she was pitying herself and complaining about other people in the family. I believed her when she said that everyone else was the problem. But then I would connect with everyone else, and I would see her rage, and I had conflicting beliefs and became really deeply confused. Then high school started, and I was getting real fed up with the incessant chaos that was my life, and I started to find my voice. And in doing so, I began to shift fluently in and out of the scapegoat role, and my relationship with my mom began to decline. Several times, I realized just how mean my mom could be, and I thought no one in their right mind treats their family this way. But I would get caught up in motherly love bombing and my desire to have a normal relationship with my mom, and I would just kind of brush everything under the rug and move on. Our extended family and friends thought that our family and my mom was just a little bit off. And then much of our family and friends, my mom had fooled. She would cause smear campaigns and victimize herself and make it seem like we were the unhealthy and cruel ones. And the family and friends who kind of knew the truth had compassion for me, but were like, well, she's your mom. Like, what are you gonna do? And that's largely how I felt, and that was very invalidating. My emotions felt like real, but like they weren't that bad. Like I was making a bigger deal out of them than they were. After a while, kindness on her part became less frequent than the rage, and towards the end of my time living with her in our family house, my childhood home, fighting with her led to me doing things that were totally out of character for me. I recognize now that it was out of total desperation. I was out of control of my circumstances as a minor and just didn't know what to do. Then, luckily, I saved myself. I moved out, calmed down, gained some perspective, and I'm happy to say that I am now in control of my life. And it's just changed the relationship with my mom because she has no control over me. Our relationship exists now because we want it to, and I have realized over time that that's not necessarily the case. The fact that, I want it to, I really don't. She's negative all the time. She doesn't really check in on me or make it seem like she cares about me at all. She makes me doubt myself. She makes me feel unheard and unimportant, and I don't really want that in my life. What happened that spurred the no contact, like officially, is two events. A few weekends ago, I was caught up in a big old flare of rage, and it was totally undeserved. I was just living life and being happy, and toxic people don't like when you're being happy, so they caused a big old issue about it, and I totally disengaged for almost the first time ever. And regardless, the rage came, and it continued to come, and it went, and the whole time I just sat by and watched it, and I realized for the first time that no matter what I did, engage or totally just like not engage, the anger and the mess was going to happen anyways. It really wasn't a two-way mess. It was like a one-way mess, and whatever I did didn't even matter, like good or bad. And then last week I got a new job, thank you very much, and I wasn't talking to my mom because of what had happened a couple weeks earlier, and so I didn't tell her despite my natural inclination to. And I wondered, like, what would she say? A lot of my research has been telling me that toxic people will try and put down your successes. They'll turn it from sweet to sour because they want you to be on their level. They don't want you to be fulfilled and happy, because then they don't have power over you. Then, you know, it makes them feel bad about themselves and they can't take it, but they can take you feeling bad about yourself. I didn't think that that was going to happen. What I really thought was going to happen is she would go around and call all of her friends and say that something that she had done, some of her nurturing, had enabled me to make this accomplishment, which isn't true, or make it seem to her friends that she knew what was going on in my life, which she doesn't, or like she cared, which she doesn't. And I was like, nope, I'm just not going to tell her. But then I found out that I needed my high school diploma. So that's at her house, and I had to call her up. And after giving me a little bit of a hard time about getting the diploma, she asked if I needed it for my new job. And I said yes. And she said, "What's your position?" And I told her, and she said, "Oh, you know that's like the poop job, right? Like, that's literally doing all the scummy, dirty work that no one else wants to do. Just so you know. Like, I mean, it's getting you, it's a start. It's where you have to start, but it's like the poop job. Just so you know." And if I hadn't been aware, I could have possibly just laughed this off and been like, "Oh, you know, yeah, but I'm happy about it, so," and then she could have told me like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be." But no, I was aware. Not only did she not get excited for me and not be proud of me, she literally told me I have a poop job. So I literally just said nothing. And she paused. And then she went on fluidly to talk about the drama that had happened a few weeks prior. And I stupidly tried to defend myself. I know it's a waste of breath and it's like talking to a wall, but I said, like, a day before the drama, you texted me and said that this and that was fine. It wasn't a big deal. And she went on and started yelling and screaming, saying I took advantage of her, blah, blah, blah. And I hung up the phone because there was just no good coming out of that. I would have just gotten upset and she would have just yelled and not listened to anything I had to say. And so I hung up, and I intend on that being our last conversation for the foreseeable future. Because no matter what, it is a given that any sort of contact with her is going to end in arguments, accusations, and put-downs. And that's a fact. I know I've contributed to our chaotic relationship in the past, but present day, I am really mindfully and purposefully working towards creating positive, constructive relationships in my life. And no matter how hard I try to do that in me and my mom's relationship, it's just not gonna happen. And I know that, so I'm choosing to walk away. There is some adult children of alcoholics literature that says disengaging from the family dysfunction questions the family lie, and I see this as totally true. I think that by us all, our entire family, continuing on letting her act the way she acts and treat us the way she treats everyone, not providing any consequence because she's my mom, letting her get away with it, it's just allowing the cycle to continue. And by me disengaging, I'm saying I'm not okay with this. It's not okay. It's so clearly not okay. And I'm done putting up with it. And I know better than to think that this is going to change her. She will definitely use it to victimize herself and create some enemies for me, but I'm not scared. I'm not stupid, and I know that it's going to be best for me, and that's who I'm looking out for, and that's what this decision is all about, and what this healing journey is all about. It's about doing what's best for you, because if you grew up in a dysfunctional family, it may be the first time that anyone's really looking out for what's best for you. So I've decided to put my physical and mental energy elsewhere, invest it into relationships that build me up instead of destroy me, as my relationship with her does. And I've decided that my life is just healthier and happier without her in it. And I used to think that was really unfortunate, but now looking at the facts, I know it's just the truth. My heart is heavy and feels sorrow involving this decision, but I see how many chances I've given her and how many times I've forgiven her and all the hurt that I have felt in our relationship, and I know that it's just for the best. I'm choosing a happy and healthy life and path for my inner child, and it feels pretty darn good. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any experience in cutting out toxic family members or relationships that mean a whole hell of a lot to you, and how that went for you. I'm very curious what you have to say, so let me know. I wish you strength in making empowering choices on your healing journey, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.